Hey, howdy, friends. It's Steve DePoe here with the Rose Realty team with this week's Real Estate Live for North Texas. Like I mentioned last week, today we're going to talk about how long does it take to buy a house? Well, that's kind of a loaded question, but we're going to try to answer it as best we can. So, what I did here is I created this process, and you see this process here. That the first step is the first group of steps on the left hand side is your preparation stuff, I'm going to call it. The middle part is the make an offer section, or you might want to call it, and at the end is like the final steps. Okay, so we're going to get into each one of these sections, or each one of these blocks of process steps individually. Before we get started, though, if you could, we're going to ask you, Rose and I are going to ask you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You go to www.youtube.com/ at moving to Dallas, as you see there on the screen, and just like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Doesn't cost you anything. You get updates about when we do new vlogs or new videos or new postings, those kinds of things. We're going to start at the beginning of the new year. We're going to start doing blogs and newsletters, and so you'll have access to all that kind of information, obviously free of charge. Hey, look, we really thank you for doing this for us, and we really appreciate you. Okay, let's get into that first section, the one that was all the way over on the left. So you're looking for a new house. Your first step is to get pre-approved. You want to know how much you can afford to pay for. With today's interest rates are a little bit different than they were 2 years ago. So you want to get the idea of how much you can afford, which means how much you want to go out with your real estate agent to look for. Okay, what the kind of cap is, right? You can also figure in obviously your equity on your current house, etc., so that you know what your limits are. You're going to list your requirements. You and your wife, or you and your husband, or whatever significant other, are going to sit down and you're going to list your requirements. What is it? The things I like to call it the must-haves and the like-to-haves. For your new home. Then you're going to connect with an agent. Hopefully that's going to be me, but if it's not, that's okay too. You're going to connect with an agent and you're going to share this information. Hey, here's how much we can afford. Here's what our list of requirements are. And those requirements are also like where, okay? It's not just, hey, we want 3 bedrooms and a pool, but it's like we want 3 bedrooms, a pool, 2.5 baths in Azle, something like that, right? And so you want to be specific and with those, and you're going to share that with your agent. And what your agent's going to do is start to kind of do a search, kind of let you know what he or she finds online, and then where they're located, and they're going to start sending you, like in bulk almost, a list of houses that kind of fit your needs and fit your requirements. And then you're going to go look at those houses. Okay, you're going to go kind of a tour of those houses and kind of see what you see, what you like, what you don't like, and that helps your agent then is going to be able to narrow it down. Well, they want 3 bedrooms and 2.5 baths, but they like bigger backyards, or they like corner lots, or they like a little bit older homes because they got more character, whatever. Okay, and that's going to get your agent, who's going to allow your agent to get more kind of deep into your head a little bit and figure out, even though it's 2 bedrooms, 3 bath, excuse me, 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, what specifics, that you're interested in. And this is variable. Okay, so the pre-approval, the getting pre-approved, should take less than a day. And then you're listing your requirements and connecting with your agent, and the rest of that, those middle 3 steps, should be like no time at all. Let's say 2 days. And then the house tours, depends on you and your specifications and your list of requirements and those kinds of things. But this is a variable. This first step, it should take around somewhere between 10 days to 2 weeks. Okay, let's just put it like that. And then we're going to get into that middle section. So now we found that offer, excuse me, we found that house that you like, and we know what you can afford, and so we're going to make an offer. So we're going to go out and put together an offer, contingent, not contingent. Contingent would mean, for example, you'd have to wait to make sure you sell your house, or that you get your mortgage, or get qualify for the mortgage, et cetera, et cetera. And so, um, we're gonna make that offer, and then we're going to put that offer in, and hopefully it's accepted, and we're going to execute the contract. The contract is executed when both sides sign off on it. Okay, and we pick a closing date. Okay, now at that point, so it says apply for a mortgage, but you should keep your mortgage, or your mortgage bank, or your lender in the loop at all times at this point, so that they know you're looking, and that they can almost give you an approval for the mortgage. I mean, like that. Okay. We're going to go do a home inspection, so we know what's going on, kind of like behind the walls in the house, to make sure that the roof is in good shape, and the electricity is good, and all of the circuit breakers are the right capacity, and all those kinds of things. We're going to negotiate repairs, so there's anything comes out of the inspection that we want taken care of. We're going to negotiate those repairs, and then we're going to finalize the contract. So, this could take anywhere from around 7 to 14 days or so, right? So that they're making the offer and then negotiating the contract, there's usually like a day or two, something like that. Like I said, in conjunction, you're applying for your mortgage. The home inspection should take about a week ish, right? Negotiating the repairs is maybe a couple of days, and then we finalize the contract. So all that comes to around 7 to 14 days or so. Okay. Then what's going to happen is your bank or your lender, unless you're paying cash, your bank or your lender is going to require an appraisal. Okay. And so they're going to send somebody out to appraise the property. And basically that's to make sure that if something were to happen, the bank would be able to get their money back. Okay. Maybe a survey was included in the selling package. Maybe it wasn't. So then the bank and you should actually get a survey at that time if it wasn't included. The title company is going to do a title search to make sure there's no liens on the house, and that the people who are selling it, have that right to sell it, right? You're going to go to your insurance carrier, and you're going to say, hey, we need insurance on this house. And they're going to give you those estimates and tell you how much it's going to cost. You're going to get a home warranty, so we will recommend, some different companies that will give you a home warranty. And then we're going to get you to close. Okay. Now, all that process there is going to be somewhere between 7 and 21 days. Okay. Most lenders will tell you that they can close, within 21 days. But so if we actually kept the lender in the loop from day one, they can probably close within, and you had that pre-approval, they can probably close within about 14 days or so. What's a little bit of what slows us down a little bit sometimes is the people who are selling their house now have to figure out where they're going to go. So maybe they've got a house that's being built. Maybe maybe they're moving to Florida, or something along those lines. And so we have to watch it. We have to kind of pay attention and be sensitive to what's going on with them on their end of the deal. And so even though, hey, we can close in 14 days, maybe they need that extra week. Okay. Also be aware that maybe they need 3 weeks after the closing, and so we do what's called a lease back. So if you're the buyer and you're flexible to say, okay, they can stay in the house for 3 weeks, we, depending on the situation and what's going on in the market, maybe we say, hey, okay, we want you to give us $1,500. Excuse me, maybe we ask them for $1,000 a week or something like that, or maybe we give it to them for free. It depends on everybody's situation and what's going on. but we have to be cognizant of that as well. That what happens to the people we're selling you the house, because they don't want to be living in their car, okay, in your backyard. Okay, so we have to watch out for that. So if you kind of follow that whole process is going to take somewhere from the time you decide to buy a house to the time we close. That whole process is going to take somewhere between 21 to 28 days, something like that. So we can get it done in about a month, maybe 5 weeks. Okay, something like that. So that's the process. That's how long it takes to buy a house. On the flip side, how long does it take to sell a house? Right now, houses are on the market for about 30 to 45 days. And then you have an attack on another 30 days ish or so for that closing process that I mentioned. So to sell a house is around a month and a half to 2 months. Okay, just FYI, thought I'd throw that out there. Next week, an interesting topic: should you paint brick? This was initially I thought this was I would say, can you paint brick? But after my research, it was, should you paint brick? Interesting information I found out here. This is Steve. I am with the Rose Realty team. So long.